a different time right now, and it's so sad that people can't unite on that issue, right? I think we're kind of seeing a little bit of a wake up, I feel like, when the groceries are hard to buy and eggs are $79 and, you know, all the things, people are like, okay, let me reel it back. I think that the government wants to be able to control everything about your lives. They already do, not to get too down into the conspiracy thing. I think they definitely do want to have a social credit score. They want to know exactly who you're voting for.
Yeah.
They already know, guys.
Yeah.
They have your cell phones. They already know what you've liked. I mean, shit, I can be laying in bed and think of, you know, a toilet seat, and for some strange reason, I'm scrolling on Facebook, there's a toilet seat, you know, and I just thought about it. You know, so they might be here already. I don't know.
Do you feel with what's happening right now with Gen Z and the way that they're treating everything with the LGBT community, do you feel that it's sort of disrespectful towards everything that the old school gays had to go through?
They're destroying it.
Yeah.
100% destroying it. When I was working in the bars, if we would have seen a child in a bar back in the day, the drag queens would have stopped the show and be like, whose babies are up in this audience?
Yeah.
Out.
Yep.
Okay?
Wait a minute. So is this why you were doing the suited headshots?
I can't tell you.
Are we gonna get a conservative politician moment?
I can't tell you. Here's what I will tell you. I have thought a lot about running for office.
Yeah.
I have thought a lot about it because I'm not held down.
Right.
So I'm not held down by the DeSantis team. I'm not held down by the Ramaswamy team. I'm not held down by the Biden team. I can call out politicians freely with no remorse.
Right. And we are back.
We're back, guys.
Look at that smile.
I'm pretty stoked.
You're fangirling right now.
A little
huh?
bit, yeah.
Guys, we have conservative Ant on the show.
Hey, how you doing? You're smiling because of me?
Yes, I am.
Bro,
my
that's all
God.
I've heard for the last 24 hours. Last night or the night before when we were texting, she's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, Ant, look.
I was a little salty about it. I was like, okay. And I went back to my knitting. Like,
Well, see, I don't have your number yet, so I can not.
we can do a little exchange.
Yeah,
Can we leave?
exactly,
Oh my gosh,
exactly.
guys.
That's funny.
You are somebody who brings a different light to my life when I watch your TikToks.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Your energy is unlike anything I've seen on the app.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think you got to see one of my behind the scenes when I got here because I had to do my whole Joe thing.
I caught him out there taking pictures of my truck.
I did.
Yeah.
The truck is amazing. I mean, come on, how can I not?
Yeah.
And the studio is amazing. Thanks for having me. Like, this is
course.
great.
This is the jump off point for us.
Yeah.
Yep. Getting people that are big on TikTok, because I don't think people realize the importance that TikTokers have now. Like, this is the equivalent of us watching TV when we were kids. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's a different time. I think now it's important to utilize those social media platforms like, TikTok and even Instagram. But I think TikTok's a big one because this is the generation right now of not, newspapers,
right.
tabloid magazines. People are fed up with Hollywood because they're unrelatable in a time when people can't have all the things that Kim Kardashian have.
Right.
It's good to see, and look, I'm a political content creator, but it's good to see content creators on both sides of the aisle that have a niche and like do their thing without regret. And it's important. And that's
Right.
why the platform does so well, is because people have this outlet. Nobody likes to watch Hollywood anymore, and we get our news from social media.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So
It's the only way that you can get truth, because the media is just a propaganda machine now.
it is. And if you think back to the old school news, right, the news cycle, it's all the same, but we were only getting the news that they wanted us to get. When social media happened, we are able to find out things that are happening in so many different parts of the world that we never knew before.
Right.
Whether it be just travel and you have your bloggers that go around to like places like I follow a guy that's in Beirut right now. I would never go to Beirut, but I love the fact that he's showing me all the street food.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy and different. And the news, like learning the United States government is hard enough, knowing exactly the ins and outs because the average American doesn't know everything about our government. But learning the Australian government and the UK and Canada and what's going on right now with the Middle East. And so people put their different perspectives on it, whether they're on the ground or here. It's important.
Yeah.
It's a connection that nobody can really match.
Yeah, you saw a lot of that with France when all of that was going on in France with the rioting and things. It didn't make our news at all. Like, I don't think I saw a single segment, but that's all my TikTok was riots in France.
Yeah. Yeah, and the same thing. Look, I have family in Italy too. You know, I'm first generation Italian. I was born here in the States, but my parents came from there. And I still have extended family that lives in Italy. And riots were going on in Italy too. And I was just recently there about a month ago, and I was really trying to understand their government and stuff. It's interesting. I don't think our government or their government wants all of us talking.
No, I don't think so either. It's a lot harder to control us when we know what's going on.
Yeah.
100%. You can control the people in France. The French can do that for them. The United States is the same. You know, each country can control their people, but once you start uniting and uniting with the people of Israel, or, you know, really understanding the Middle East and understanding that there are people in Palestine that have been imprisoned and wrongfully killed, and they're looking for freedom as well. It's so complex that we can't wrap our minds around it, because in the United States, I was just talking to my friend on the way here, in the United States, we've never experienced something where people are being dragged out of their houses for their religion,
Right.
and killed on the streets. The American people have never experienced something like that. So to wrap your mind around that this is going on in the Middle East, whether it's in Israel or Pakistan or Afghanistan or Iraq, we don't know, still it's innocent women, innocent children, whether they're Pakistani or Israeli, they're being murdered in front of their families on the streets. Guys.
Over their religion.
Yeah.
Over their religion.
The amount of people who are fair weather Christians or whatever their faith is, they use it in times of, like, we used to call it prison faith, because you get that faith in prison and get out and go right back to doing what you're doing. But then you have people who are in Israel being pulled out of their homes and murdered, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to, like, keep that faith in that moment.
It 100%. And you know, we saw just not too long ago what was going on in Cuba,
Right.
with they had their whole freedom movement as well, from their government, and they were taking 18-year-old men right out of their houses and making them basically militants without their consent, you know, having to fight their own family members. So I don't think Americans really understand how good we have it. And that's why, like, I have a shirt on that says I do not identify, because my LGBT people, I love that community. I was a part of that community. I did a lot to, like, help that community thrive when I was in my 20s, you know. But what's going on right now, other countries don't care what you identify as.
Right.
They don't care what you're doing on your own time. If it comes to it, they're going to rip you out of your house regardless.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is just unite with your people.
With
Right.
humans.
Your humans, just as people, just unite, and it's just a scary time.
I don't want to get too far away from Italy, because that was a big thing that you wanted to talk about.
I saw you guys look at each other, and I was like, did they like me? or
She
Italy?
said on the way here, she's like, just know I want to talk about Italy. I'm like, okay, what do you want to talk about? And she's like, I don't know everything. I'm like, okay, babe, do your thing.
All the things Italy.
So how was Italy? I know I've been to France.
Okay.
So in being in France, everything structured there is so different from America. The way people interact with each other, the way that people speak to each other, social interactions. I noticed a lot of people just sitting and having coffee at restaurants. There was no eating. So what was it like in Italy?
Yeah, it's definitely a culture shock. I've been to Italy quite a few times, obviously growing up as an Italian American, and I absolutely love that back to that human base, right? Like
Yeah.
I felt like you feel like you take a time machine almost back to like the 90s where nobody really had phones and stuff because people really value family and friends there. I feel like it's like this in every other part of the world besides the United States. I mean, we've been to Costa Rica, Barcelona, everywhere. Italy was like they cared about food. They cared about being around each other. They wanted to like give you all the things and show you all the things.
They were excited to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And here, it's like everyone's like, okay, guys. Like everyone's
Right.
so like, I don't know, inconvenienced
Yeah.
or something.
That's a really good way to put it, inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you're even in my presence, the audacity.
Correct. And when you're in Italy, everyone's like, "You never saw this before? I gotta show you. Come on, no, you gotta eat this." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't eat no more." They're like, "No, you gotta eat. Like you gotta eat." Everyone's so much healthier mentally, I feel, and physically, but they have very minimal things.
Yeah.
We're very privileged to live in a country where we can complain about everything. Can I swear?
You can do
Of
whatever you
course.
want.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna
Don't tell me that.
No,
now.
you can't. I'm going to pause you 1 second. I don't remember what we were talking about.
Europe, Italy.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you said something that you noticed that their mental health and physical health is a lot
Yeah,
better.
their mental health, their physical health is a lot better because their food is a lot better.
I was getting ready to say, is it because of what they eat?
Yeah, everything. A lot of things that our government or the FDA, the American FDA approves is not approved in Europe,
Right.
which is so mind-boggling to me because I'm like, okay, why wouldn't that be a universal thing that's not approved, right? And
Right.
that's what takes you down like the conspiracy rabbit hole stuff, which I love. But yeah, they're not doing any of the red dyes. They're not doing any of those, preservatives and stuff. And people shop for that day.
Right.
Like we go to Costco and spend 6, 7. I mean, you can't leave without spending minimal $400. They don't do that.
Right.
They don't shop in bulk.
No, they don't.
That's
I
'cause
mean,
the food will go bad.
Right.
it'll go bad. And like the lunch meat, you can only have it for about a day and a half because then it goes bad. So they buy it in like whatever, quarter kilo, whatever, little packages. Here it's like, let me get 2 pounds of turkey.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. And it sits in your fridge for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I got this. When did I get this? 3 weeks ago? It's so good.
Checking when does something go bad on Google. You
Yeah.
have 3 months from the expiration
Right.
date.
Well, by the time we get our eggs from the grocery store, those have been running around for months.
Yeah.
So it really makes you think, and they're just really on their feet. I really do love it, but they don't have the luxuries that we have here when it comes to central air conditioning and heating systems and I don't know, showers that last more than 10 or 15 minutes. They have a washer but not a dryer. They hang their clothes outside. Like to an American, we were like, this is a real inconvenience.
Yeah.
To
That's the
them,
life I long for.
to them, they're just like, it's another day.
Right.
And I'm over there, sweating because it's like 100 degrees. And they're like, you're from Florida. Like, how are you? I'm like, because our restaurants have central air conditioning, pulls out the humidity. Here, not that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're having a beautiful dinner and you're sweating. But other than that, take out the American privilege. One of the most, I would probably leave here and go there if shit went down here.
Really?
Yeah.
Noted.
That's a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched your TikTok where you compared the Italy Nutella versus what's here. Blew my mind.
I know. You could taste it too.
I bet.
Yeah, you could taste it. And then when you see things that says imported from Italy here or imported from Germany or imported from France, really look and it'll say packaged in New Jersey.
Oh, they
Hoboken,
fibbed.
New Jersey. Or say packaged in whatever state. Well, I thought it was imported. No, the brand is imported. The recipe is imported, but it's bottled and packaged in the United States, which gives them the opportunity to add the preservatives, to add the dyes, to add the oils.
It's a loophole.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. So it's definitely something to watch and keep your eyes open. And the only thing I will say about Italy and Europe and other parts of the world, and I think that the millennials and the Gen Z generation are starting to speak up on it, is the pay. They don't really get paid that much. I mean, they think that it's insane how much we get paid here. Just like working in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their minimum wage is like $3.90.
Yeah, if you make $34,000, you're in the top 1% of the world's income.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I really hope that changes for them, because the living situations are not as luxurious as it is here.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, when you got food and family, what else do you need?
Right. Yeah, people are a lot happier. So have you started reading labels since coming back from Italy? Like, are you more nutrition conscious?
Well,
I know you're working out, so like.
Yeah. Oh, he's staring at me. It's my bestie there.
Not
he's
trying
staring
to
at
put
me.
you on the spot or
And my
anything.
personal trainer. No, I feel that, yeah.
Sorry.
No, he's fine. I'm fine. Everything's gonna be okay. I promise. Yeah, a little bit. I think something that is just, you just look at these labels because you're curious on what's actually in the stuff. Everything's bioengineered, which what does that even fucking mean?
Crickets.
Yeah, crickets, roach parts.
Yeah.
Rat hair.
Yeah.
But it's different. Yeah, United States is definitely different. I mean, everything that we eat is shit. So
Yeah.
I'm doing my best
Yeah.
for myself.
That's good.
Yeah.
I also want to touch on, you said that family and friends are super important over in Italy, and that's something that's lacking in America. And you also said that they have to buy food for the day. Are marriages and relationships over there structured differently than what you see here?
Yes.
Okay.
They're structured differently in the sense of there's more of a role in the household still. Like, you remember when you went back to, 80s, baby. My mom took care of the house. My dad went to work. She cooked dinner. She made lunches. She did all the things. They kind of have that structure still a little bit. I mean, it's a lot more modernized. A lot of women work and stuff. I'm not saying that that's where they belong. I'm saying that that's just a traditional value that they hold. But one thing that they have there that lacks in the United States is they have this faith in the Catholic religion, or Judaism. Like, there's a lot of different, Christian religions within Italy, but the children actively participate in, a procession in a town with a saint that is like the month of that saint. And you see kids singing and walking down the streets, and it's so different because they've structured their lives around faith, family, togetherness.
Right.
They watch out for their towns, they watch out for each other, and the cell phone things, it's expensive to have a cell phone there. So for them, it's really just like, okay, I have a cell phone, whatever. I can call you, I can go on the internet. We're just so focused around that here.
Right.
Yeah.
Digital leash.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everyone's like, this is,
Yep.
Wow, it's amazing to hear that their family runs much deeper than just blood relation. It's humanity. They view the person living 4 blocks away from them as family in a sense.
Yeah, and everybody in the town knows that somebody else's kids. They're like, hey, what are you doing? Make sure they'll like talk to them. Or, go check on the senora downstairs. Make sure Maria's okay. Hi, Rosa. Like, they're all yelling and screaming at each other. And it's just so cute. And
I yearn for that.
oh, God, I wish.
Yearn for that.
That was southern states in the 80s. I mean, that was my childhood growing up. That was very normal. In the last 50 years, we've watched houses get way bigger and the people living in it get way smaller in terms of people. You get a single family home now is 2,000 square feet. Before it was 1,000 and you had 4 people living in there.
Who can afford a home now?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to go back to that real soon.
Yeah, we were just talking about this on the right here. It's like, it's sad because when my parents were younger and they had us, the entire fabric of being an American, like the American dream, was you bought a home, you rooted yourself in a community, you had faith, You had your family, you raised your family, you did all these things. Now, a brand new husband and wife, the average home cost is almost $500,000.
Yeah.
There is no way that a new husband and wife, they almost have to rent.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably say, and I don't know the numbers on this, but maybe over 80% of the population probably has to rent. And even that, it's like, oh, $3,000 a month. It's just such a different time right now. And it's so sad that people can't unite on that issue, right? I think we're kind of seeing a little bit of a wake up, I feel like, when the groceries are hard to buy and eggs are $79 and, all the things, people are like, okay, let me reel it back.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think this is by design in the whole you'll own nothing and be happy? Or do you think that the housing economy is going to collapse? Because it's going to have to reset at some point.
I think a little bit of both. I think that our government wants what you said. I think that the government wants to be able to control everything about your lives. They already do, not to get too down into the conspiracy thing, but I think they definitely do want to have a social credit score. They want to know exactly who you're voting for.
Yeah.
They already know, guys.
Yeah.
They have your cell phones. They already know what you've liked. I mean, shit, I can be laying in bed and think of, a toilet seat, and for some strange reason, I'm scrolling on Facebook, there's fucking toilet seat, and I just thought about it, so they might be here already. I don't know, but it's crazy because it's like, I'll have a conversation with somebody about something and then it's like, oh, here it is.
Yeah.
So they know what we're doing. You can get rid of TikTok. People are like, oh my God, TikTok is China ran. It all is.
Yeah.
I mean, your phone is made in China.
Yeah.
You could get rid of TikTok. Apple still has your location.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they really just want to have that ultimate control, and that's scary.
Yeah. Do you know who have you ever seen the Sean Ryan show on YouTube?
I have not.
Okay. He had an ex-CIA operative on recently, and one of the conversations that they had said that if you took your battery out of your cell phone still listens to you.
I did hear this, so I must have seen a clip. Yeah, that's scary. And same with the emergency broadcasting thing that was happening, right? Where they were like, oh, turn your phones off, turn your phones off. What does it matter?
Right.
The people next to you, their phones are going to go off. The guy that lives upstairs, his phone's going to go off. Everyone at the grocery, it doesn't matter. You can't hide from it.
Right.
Every street light has got a surveillance camera, whether you can see it or not. Anywhere you go is surveillance, so it doesn't matter. You would have to probably go into a bunker, and completely isolate yourself from the rest of the world for them to not know where you're at.
Yeah.
So we've just come to we've accepted it. I mean, I know that I probably have an FBI agent that stares at me through. I say hi to him every day. How you doing, Rob? Hey, I've named him. Yeah, how you doing? He looks at me through my phone. He's probably bored or he laughs.
Yeah, highly entertaining content most of the time.
He either likes me or doesn't. Either way, he's watching.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in my own little conspiracy theory right now.
Please, I love these.
So with the way inflation is going in America right now, right? I can't remember where this is happening over in the East, but it's happening somewhere. They are building a mile long
the line.
homing thing, yes.
It's called the line.
The line, yes.
I think that's Saudi Arabia.
Actually,
Saudi
it is
Arabia?
somewhere over there. Dubai?
Yes.
It's Dubai.
Dude, the money that's in Dubai.
Oh, my
by
God.
the
Oh,
way.
it's insane.
So I got on, not to interrupt you,
We'll get
but
back to it.
yes, the money that's in Dubai, I've gotten on Dubai Talk. If anybody's gotten on Dubai Talk, but watch it. It's highly entertaining.
Yes.
The money, you have to be so rich. I'm willing to bet that they're probably one of the most prosperous countries.
Yeah, they are. They are. And their currency actually has value to it.
Yeah.
So crazy how that works.
So what was your conspiracy?
My conspiracy is, what if the U.S. government is making everything so expensive to the point that it is the better option to let us take care of you? We can provide everything for you. You just have to get a chip in your hand or something.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. I agree with that. I think it was Ronald Reagan that said, you have to worry when the government says we're here to help you.
Yep, that was Reagan.
Kamala Harris just said it the other week.
Oh,
She
no,
said,
ma'am.
we're the government and we're here to help you. Oh, Lord, here the fuck we go.
This is 1984 and like physical stature in terms of the housing.
Yep.
Yeah. They're building these 15-minute cities, which so on both sides, right, to play devil's advocate, for me, it's convenient to be in a 15-minute city. You take out all the conspiracies. Where I live right now, where we live here, and a lot of people know in Florida, we kind of do live in that because every town, everything's within 10 minutes, right? So we have a Publix, we have this store, we have all the stores within 10 minutes of us. The line that they want to make is exactly what you said. It's control because you have everybody basically in a tank.
Yep.
Your lizards in a tank. They're going to tell you where now you can only shop at these, and it's in the middle of the desert. So where the fuck are you going to go?
Right.
I mean, you're in the line and you're working there, you're shopping there, you're eating there, probably have it ship here because now they're building all of these Amazon stores where all you do is you go inside and go like this, and then it charges your account. You ain't putting that shit in me.
Oh, no, I will.
Not a
Sorry.
chance.
I will be exterminated before
100%.
I do that.
I will go to the re-education camps that they want all of the conservatives to go to.
Raise hell in there too.
You say that like you're going to have a choice, bro. You say like you're going to have a choice.
I won't have a choice.
Rob is going to come knock on your door and be like, all right, bro, it's time to go. You knew this shit was coming. You said it on the TV Better podcast.
Yeah, I did. I'm going to make TikToks in there though, Rob.
Let me get the flip phone. I'm going to call Joey.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell him how unhappy I am with this.
I should have brought the flip phone.
You should have.
today. Next time.
The big one or the big inflatable one.
I should have brought
That
it
would have been
today.
better too.
I didn't know what kind of scenario this was going to be. This is like great. So next time I'm going to bring the
Yeah.
blow-up phone.
Oh, it's a blow-up phone?
I have
Got
two.
a giant inflatable
Oh.
phone.
I have a
Okay.
giant inflatable phone. You've seen it. Y'all have seen it.
Just call him Kevin Gates from now on. Two phones.
The 1990s flip phone, which is super great. One of my followers sent it to me a long time ago, and I use it for my skits.
I have hardcore thought about downgrading to a flip phone.
I mean, I used to work for a cell phone company, and my grandparents' generation would always come in with these flip phones. Here's the thing about these things, though: you're not going to be able to use them
Right.
because I don't know if it's just me. And look, you can go down another rabbit hole if you want. When I was in the early 2000s, I had my Razor.
Oh, yeah.
I can make a phone call from fucking Beirut. Okay, I can make a phone call from the basement, from the attic, from anywhere possible. Now I can't even call somebody if I'm in the grocery store because I have no signal.
We don't have service at our house.
Yeah, we
What?
had to switch from Verizon to T-Mobile to even get phone calls
Verizon's
at our
the
house.
worst.
Yeah.
By the way, we're the worst. You're the worst. But I don't understand it. Like, we're in the year 2023. Why can't I make a call from a simple grocery store?
All right. I have to interrupt before I forget what I was going to say. How cool is it to have people on here and talk about how great all of this is?
God,
Because
it's so
Joe
amazing.
did the same shit, right?
I will say, I've been on sets. This is like, y'all are right where I lost of words.
We're getting there.
When you get Ant to not have
Something
words
to say.
Yeah.
We did the thing.
the damn thing.
That's wild.
It's validating. We have people tell us all the time, you guys are famous. I don't feel it.
No, I don't either.
You
You get stopped in public a lot, I bet.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. So I was at the gym, and Herb notices that there's this really famous bodybuilder. And so this guy walks in. I looked at the guy like, damn, like he's stacked,
315.
Yeah, just solid muscle. So I'm sorry, Aaron, I didn't know who you were, but that's okay. I do now. And we're working out, and he comes up to me and he's like, dude, your shit is so funny online. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And we start chatting, talking, Well, at the end of it all, my buddy Herb looks at me. He's like, the famous guy knew you. If you ever tell me that you're not famous again, I swear to God. I'm like, look, I don't think that I am. I do get noticed. I was just I went and just as a patron to go see the Roseanne show. She was here in Florida. Every 2 feet, someone's like, oh, can I take a picture? Oh, can I take a picture? I was like, sure. And I absolutely love it. I give people
Right.
hugs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. But I'm not like in movies or anything, so I'm just doing this like TikTok, Instagram.
That's what I'm saying. It's different now because that's
Yeah.
the culture compared to what we had when we were kids. Because I'm also an 80s baby.
Yeah.
So like the people that we looked up to,
Yeah.
we saw them as that. The screens have just changed.
It's so you're so right about that. And what people think like what we thought like classic Hollywood was with like the Grammys and the Academy. I remember my mom in like the early 90s was so excited when the Academy Awards was going to be on because this whole red carpet event.
It was
and
an
stuff.
elegant thing.
It was
too.
elegant. Yeah, and movies were great. Like they don't even make movies like they used to anymore. And I feel like maybe people think that social media is like that now, where it's like anybody who's comedic or you guys have a successful podcast, like that's their shows, right? That's their Eric and Kelly.
Yeah.
Like
It is.
That's
It
crazy
really
to think
is.
about.
you know,
It-
this is it.
It explains why people break down every time they see you. It doesn't matter where we go. Somebody recognizes us. Well,
Yeah.
her mainly, but it's always like, oh my God, no way, this is real life. And then they start crying. And then she
I've
starts
done that.
crying.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole...
You're the
I do.
emotional one.
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah,
that.
It is
every
a-
time.
It's
I
an
would have
art.
pegged you to be the emotional
Yeah.
one.
No, I hide
He's
it really
getting
well.
there.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
She is?
Yeah,
No.
he really is.
Oh, well, you got that
Stoic.
DILF
Don't
shirt
do
on. Oh, God. That's great.
I
Yeah,
went-
I know. I love it. It's cool.
I went to Hallow Scream this past Saturday with
Yeah.
my kid's stepmom, and back to back to back, people were recognizing me. And out of nowhere, I hear someone scream, "Pages!" And like I'm turning around, I'm looking, and she's coming up, and she's freaking out. And then as she's freaking out, another girl's watching us, and she was like, "Oh my God, is that who I think it is?" And it was her birthday.
Oh, I love
was-
it.
It's such a. I don't take it as a famous moment. I take it as I've touched somebody's life,
Yeah.
and I'm putting a face to the people who support us.
Yeah. That's a
It's-
great way of definitely. I mean, look, because of what I do,
Mm-hmm.
I, have gotten it from both sides.
I believe that.
And me mentally as a person, I'm pretty center and level headed. Like I want the same things that like normal Democrats want, and I want the same thing that like normal Republicans want. But there's that like whoa here and that whoa here where I'm like, y'all are doing the most. Like that's like way too much. And so I don't want people to like really be like, oh, conservative aunt, how can you be gay and be a conservative? Slow down a minute.
Yeah, pump
Yeah.
your fucking brakes.
Pump the fucking brakes, because I think when people think conservative, they're thinking of, your granddaddy's like Republican Party. It's not that. Like we're trying to reshape it to be a lot more inclusive. There's tons of things that I would want. Like, wouldn't you want a gay conservative person to one day be helping to protect your rights that at one point Republicans wanted to get rid of?
Wait a minute. So is this why you were doing the suited headshots?
I can't tell you.
Are we gonna get
I
are we gonna get a
Yeah.
conservative ant
I can't.
politician moment?
I can't tell you. Here's what I will tell you. I have thought a lot about running for office.
Yeah.
I have thought a lot about it. The only reason why I will always work with lawmakers if they ask, like if they want, I will back people. I will back candidates that I feel are right. I don't want to get sucked into the political swamp.
Right.
And I
Oh,
feel that unfortunately happens to people. I would rather be the entertainment portion of my generation when it comes to politics, because I feel that a lot of people watch, all of these famous singers and movie, actors and actresses, and they have one political agenda.
Right.
And I think that it would be way better to broaden that and have amazing stand-up comedians and amazing entertainers that can openly speak to you about their political views and it be okay.
Right.
And speak to you in a sane way and not a robotic Vivek Ramaswamy way where he's trying to be super cool. Ooh, did I just
said
say
it.
that? He's Obama.
Shit.
He further said it.
He just seems really paid to me. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
become that person in politics. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, it happens. And you need these really big boy donors in order for you to elevate yourself.
And then you owe somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to call out both sides. I think that now that we're getting into politics real quick, so I'm not running for office, but you guys will see soon what I'm doing.
Okay.
But I think that the Republican Party does a really, 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 really bad job at marketing to millennials and Gen Z.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think that they still think that my parents and my grandparents are the ones that are voting. They're not. Like, we already know who they're voting for. Sally, that was born in 1957, she's voting for Trump. You don't have to sell her Fruitful Yield and Gold Bars and My Pillows. We fucking know. She's voting red. You got her. You've had her. It's millennials. It's the Gen Z generation that they are looking at their phones for the news, and what's pushed out right now is liberal media.
Right.
Yeah.
And woke media. And if I was a kid that was Gen Z right now, I probably would be more of a liberal.
Right, because this was being forced down your throat.
Correct.
But they're also not giving free thinking moments. And on the politician thing where you were like, I don't want to do that because I want to continue what I'm doing. You giving somebody the ability to free think and have a flowing opinion, because something that can happen could change your mind. And you're smart enough to not hold to something just because the information's changed, you're going to change with it.
Right.
So knowing that you're able to do that, the people who watch you as information changes, you being able to admit that makes you not a politician. So you are going to create free thinking individuals with your content, and that's going to affect change on a much greater level than it would ever if you were in office, unless you were running on a local level.
Correct, because I'm not held down.
Right.
So I'm not held down by the DeSantis team. I'm not held down by the Ramaswamy team. I'm not held down by the Biden team. I can call out politicians freely with no remorse.
Right.
I can honestly say that I will back a candidate. I can honestly say that I will back a candidate if I think that they're right. You gave us Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, and all the other washed up Democrats that we've had for over 40 years in the White House, and they did nothing. Had you had given me something to work with, I would have considered voting for a Democrat. I won't lie.
Who would you have considered? Would you have done like a Tulsi Gabbard maybe? 'Cause,
Maybe.
Like, I know she switched. I really thought she was going to run.
Yeah.
Really
I
thought
did
she was
too.
going to run.
Oh, we got
Of course we do.
Yeah.
Of course we do.
I like her. Here it is again, Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, I liked her until Fox News started pushing her, and then Fox News started pushing her, and I'm like, here's this shit again. They're pushing somebody. Well, so what did they pay you? So what? So they're pushing you constantly because they like you, but why do they like you?
Right.
Are you saying all the right things for them? That's what I mean. It's like, that's why it's really icky for me to be a politician. I also hate the aspect of them really like digging into your life and digging into your family's life. Although I don't have a record, it's still creepy.
It's invasive.
Right.
It's invasive. I deal with it now just as a content person or a social media journalist. We deal with it. People want to know where you live. They dox where you live and stuff like that. It's really weird. I can't imagine what a politician goes through.
Yeah. I can't imagine what you go through. We've had to change the way that we've lived our life over the last year.
Oh.
And it's weird, right? Because I understand that people watch our content, but like she said, it doesn't feel like we're famous people. We still do normal shit. Like, it's not like we're
Right.
doing anything out of the ordinary.
I was having a panic attack in Walmart the other day.
Yeah.
Well, hi.
Just social anxiety. Too many people.
Yeah.
But people will ask us, like, well, I showed my whiskey while on TikTok last night because somebody wanted to see the bottles that I had. And somebody else was like, hey, will you give us a tour of your house? And I'm like, not a fucking chance. Like, you don't need to see the layout of my home. Why?
Right.
So you can start plotting?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't think about that, because I'm not the type of person that cares where you live. Like, I don't want to know where you live. I don't care about the layout of your house, but I
Right.
forget that there are people that really do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that it's the same thing that goes back to the celebrity things, right? So they sell all the things or they have something in their house and they're like, oh, well, this person has that. I want it.
Yep.
Or they just want to be really creepy. and that is not okay.
Yeah,
Boundaries.
I see that as a big security threat. People know the layout of your home. Just for operational security, that's a problem.
Yeah.
We actually just spent a lot of money to get a German Shepherd.
Good.
And we're having it proper trained service dog. It will do everything but bomb detection, so that when she goes places that she can't carry concealed, she can take the dog.
Right.
So she's got to protect her because she goes out with the kids often, and people will approach her while she's got the kids.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. Like, I don't think about things like that. If I recognized you in public and we had never had an interaction, I'd be like, babe, that's conservative aunt. And I would walk away. Like, you would get the head nod. I recognize you, motherfucker.
Yeah, I
but
get that a lot.
I'm
too.
not trying
Mostly
to
from men.
I'm not trying to walk over and interrupt your thing.
Yeah.
But people, I like it when people approach us. So it's kind of a catch-22, right? You would think that because I enjoy
I
it,
want to
that
hug them because I see, they give you so much support. I mean, listen, those same messages that you guys have gotten, like the good ones that like really heartfelt, and like I get them from not only conservative people, I get them from liberal people as well that are like, I'm so scared to speak up because I agree with you on not everything, but some things. And I'm like, but that's because we're all humans.
Right.
And we used to be able to have these conversations back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was fine. But I want to hug them because they give me hope to keep doing what I'm doing, because I have bad days where I don't want to leave my little compound. And, my husband's like, you got to leave the compound. Like, you got to leave the house. And I'm like, yeah, but people.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know. You just fear getting into those weird situations where there's going to be somebody that's super weird. It hasn't happened to me yet, but I don't know. I mean, take a chance, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm
Be
very
protected.
terrified to be in public.
Yeah.
I already get looked at because I'm a woman, and this is my face. This is my hair. I'm covered in tattoos.
You're beautiful. What is
I know.
I appreciate you saying that.
You are
Thank you.
gorgeous.
But I don't look. I look different from what people are used to seeing in public, I suppose.
Sure.
Like, you see people like me on the internet, and a lot of people are surprised that I look like this, and then I start speaking.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. Like, I expect you to be a hardcore liberal.
Yeah.
She does get that
I
a
do.
lot.
Because of your hair dye
Yeah.
and the piercings and tattoos.
But once we started getting traction in all of this, we weren't even at 200,000 followers on a TikTok account yet. And I was like, single white female fear.
Wow.
And now that we're at the point that we're at, still single white female fear. And then Christina Grimmie
Yeah.
has come to my mind a lot in all of this.
I don't know who that is.
She blew up really big on YouTube when YouTube first started being a thing. She was an amazing singer.
Yeah.
And she took off.
Okay.
Fantastic. And one day she was doing a concert, and there was a meet and greet, and this man built a whole relationship with her in his mind.
Okay. I know who this is. I know what you're talking about now.
And unfortunately, the fallout happened, and that is a very real fear for me.
Yeah. It even in helping people on social media, I've come to the point now where we've had a couple of instances where they've in their mind built themselves up as like they're your best friend.
Yeah.
We just talked about this. What is that called?
It's a parasocial relationship.
Okay. And all you were trying to do was talk them off the ledge for all this whole period of time because they're a very fragile person. And you have to separate the like, okay, let's get you the help that you need then. And you can't have that close relationship.
Right.
Because and it's sad because it ruins it for the real genuine people that you would consider being friends with. But yeah, there's got to be that boundary now, even with me, where I'm just like, okay. Also, I stay really neutral with everybody in the content world.
Yeah.
Because when I went to broadcasting school, one thing that one of the radio hosts, she's been a very successful host in Chicago radio scene since I was a kid. And she said, never publicly blast people when you do become big in this industry. And I'm like, why? You never know, A, if you're going to work with them again, or B, what kind of connections they may have that would ruin your connection.
Yep.
It's not that I can't build my own connections or whatever, but you don't know when you're going to work with these people again.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're going to walk into a studio and there might be somebody that you dragged on the internet And now you have to do a segment with them.
Yep.
So it's never really been my thing to publicly go for people. I will just kind of keep them at a distance.
No comment.
No comment. We don't have to talk about it. I might not agree with everything that you do, but that's for me to know and you to not. And that's it, So, yeah, relationships are super important in this industry.
There's a book called Unreasonable Hospitality that I recommend everybody that is part of any business thing that I do. I always try to get them to read that book. And in that book, one of the biggest takeaways for me was that somebody is always somebody. So if you meet somebody, they're never a nobody. You never know who you're going to meet. That person could be a governor's granddaughter. You know what I mean? Like,
so true.
So I try to treat everybody with a base level of respect or integrity until they give me reason not to. And that transfers into it's not who you know, it's what you know. And if you find out that person is that person, for some people like us who are content creators, you never know where an end is going to come that could level your career to another thing. It's super important. You don't burn bridges and you don't bash people.
Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, sometimes those bridges ignite on their own and you just let that,
Yep.
you just move on from that. But yeah, super important.
So let's change subjects because we're an hour in.
Okay, before we do that, before we continue, the TikTok was brought up of you doing headshots and things. I saw you in the 3-piece suit. I thought it was all denim. It wasn't. It was navy blue.
It was a navy blue blazer, yeah.
You would look amazing in all denim. I just want you to know.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
Well,
commented. I was like,
let me drop about 20 and then I'll get because right now I'll just look like the blueberry girl from.
You turn violet. Violet? Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there. If you ever want to do a photo shoot of both of us in denim, like a boss bitch
Charlie's
moment.
I'm
Angels.
obsessed with this.
Okay, let's do it.
And
I'm
can
here
we do
for
a
it.
conservative aunt and daddy photo shoot too? With Dilf?
She's got to approve that. If she signs off on that, I'm down.
Yes, but you can't call him daddy. I
Yeah.
do.
Oh, okay. Well, then you come up with the name.
What? I was joking the other day. We were talking about gay people giving straight men compliments, and I was like, I don't think you guys understand what that does for us. I was like, a gay man ever compliments me, and I'm coming home and I'm peacocking like a motherfucker.
Oh,
she just
yeah.
looked at
Oh,
me
I'm
and she's
stepping
like,
up my game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're just busted, we won't say a word to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you're a good-looking dude, we'll be like, hey, daddy.
That means you have more options, and that's.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
And that's scary.
I see how gay men treat their partners. They go above and beyond with
Oh,
encouragement and like affirmations and whatnot.
well, we're dudes. We need constant
Yeah.
reassurance.
Well,
so,
you also know what's lacking for men.
yes. So two dudes in a
Yeah.
relationship, it's constant reassurance.
Okay, two things, because now I thought about something else now, too. Can we talk about the thwife? Thife?
Oh,
What
my
is
God. I
that?
just heard this. Thief.
Thief.
I was watching a live the other day. I keep looking at this camera. I hope that's okay. Because
Yeah,
I want
that's
to
your
give people
camera.
shots.
Yeah,
of
it's yours.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Thief means that you're a wife that identifies as they.
Wouldn't it be thives then?
Listen, Chris, I don't know. But this is insanity, okay? I'm about to take all thifes and turn it out.
Get 'em.
Just get them. I want to.
I'm envisioning like shrunken heads, but
It's
All
just,
of 'em.
this is insane.
Yeah.
How many words can you add to the diction? Like, and then they get mad because people don't understand it.
right.
What do you expect? You're making shit up by the day.
Yeah.
You're supposed to know better.
Yeah, apparently. Just be normal.
I have a problem with the creating of a word and then the backlash when it's not readily accepted.
Yeah, well, and that's an America thing.
Okay.
I think it's a big America thing.
Yeah.
You know, like we were like, oh,
Oh, it falls back into the audacity of being in my presence.
correct.
It's a full circle.
We think that we can do whatever the fuck we want here is the problem.
Yeah.
That's really the problem. And I thought it was really funny because when I went to Italy, to go back to that, we're talking about pronouns, they couldn't wrap their mind around pronouns because their language is literally based on male and female.
Right. French,
Right.
French is the same way.
I'm almost certain English is the only language that is not structured with gendered pronouns.
Because, you know, if it's female, it ends with A. If it's, you know, it ends
Yeah.
with O. So it's like, so my cousin's like, and she's a liberal. Like, she hates the new prime minister who's super conservative. Like, but we can still have conversations. She understands a lot of things that are going on in the United States. And she's like, what do you mean pronouns? And I'm like, and I'm trying to explain it to her in Italian. And I'm like, wait, there's literally no word for this pronoun. And I'm like, well, in America, they say they. She's like, yeah, multiple people. I'm like, no, it's one person.
Yeah.
She's like, imposible. She's like, there's no way. I'm like, way, it's the United States. So,
Did she hit you with that's impossible?
yeah. Yes.
That's funny.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't.
It's I get frustrated because I can't understand. And the frustration is added on top of that. Well, don't hate me because I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's a Gen Z thing.
Yeah.
And the old school gay people, we don't fucking care what your pronouns are. The old school gay people just let me just live my life. Leave me alone. I don't care who you're fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a job? You don't? Then go get one. Like, I don't care what your pronouns are. I don't want to know how many people you're with. I don't care if you shit in a litter box. Like, I can't buy eggs right now. So I don't care what your pronouns are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, priorities, people.
So let me ask you a question as an old school gay. There are things like in cultures, like there's structures, there's elders, there's always a certain respect for those kinds of people and whatnot. I see traditional women who play the same role that I do in my marriage. I view them with a certain respect.
Yeah.
Do you feel with what's happening right now with Gen Z and the way that they're treating everything with the LGBT community, do you feel that it's sort of disrespectful towards everything that the old school gays had to go through?
They're destroying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% destroying it. If we would have had, when I was working in the bars, if we would have seen a child in a bar back in the day, the drag queens would have stopped the show and be like, whose babies are up in this audience?
Yeah.
Out.
Yep.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves drag queens. Everyone loves a drag show. It's adult entertainment.
Yes.
Period. Point blank. I don't give a shit what you say. Okay? I remember as a little kid one time, there was something that we had went to on vacation, and there was a Marilyn Monroe, a Cher, and Liza Minnelli impersonator. But they were classy. She really looked like Marilyn. I mean, they were men. I had no idea because I was a kid.
Right.
Nobody had to explain it to me, guys. I was a kid. It didn't matter who you were.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw Marilyn Monroe, Liza Minnelli, and Cher. And my parents were like, oh my God, so cool. Look, Marilyn, you know, whatever.
Right.
But it was a classy event. Now you're seeing drag queens that are doing the splits on stage, showing their, basically looking like a stripper. And my question goes to people where it's like, okay, well, with that being said, then would you allow your kids to go to a strip club?
Or Hooters.
Or Hooters.
That's what I see on Facebook all the time. All my left friends are like, "You're against this, but you let your kids go to Hooters." I'm like, I mean, I don't go to Hooters.
But here's
or even Wing House
or Twin Peaks, right? Or Tilted Kilt is another bar that's popular up north. Here's the difference with those things, though. Yes, it is sexually motivated, in the sense of like the women have short skirts on or short shorts on, and their breasts are showing, not showing, but cleavage. But they're also not doing splits and asking you to put money in their pants. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, do I agree with it? I don't know. I don't have kids. If I had kids, would I bring my niece or nephew to Hooters? I mean, I don't know. It's just wings, and we're not making a big deal of it. Would I bring them to a drag show? Probably not, because the drag queen's name is Cheeto Clit or something weird. You know what I mean? Like, they have weird sexually erotic names, and that's fine, and it's funny, but I'm also 38 years old. So it's funny to me, and I understand the humor, but I don't want to sit next to a 7-year-old at the drag show. Me, as a person.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit next to a child.
Vastly uncomfortable in that situation.
Dude, I'm 38 years old, and I don't even want to watch a movie with a sex scene in it if my parents are around.
Yeah. We fast forward.
Or
past
with
that.
my niece and nephew in the room.
We have real conversations about that shit.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just the two of us.
It makes us uncomfortable.
Because there's not
Why?
a reason for
We're the
that.
same way.
Like, why is there a 5-minute sex scene? It could have been 30 seconds of them taking their clothes off and pan to the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whatever.
We know what's about to happen.
Yep.
Right.
Did you ever watch that show Power? Have you ever seen Power?
Oh, I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
It was one of those things that like I stopped watching the show because every
All
time it
sex.
was a sex scene, it was like 15 minutes, and I'm like, this doesn't enhance the storyline.
Yeah. That's kind of how that that medieval show is. I can't remember what the name is. Oh God, you guys are gonna.
Was it Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of dick.
A lot
Yeah.
of it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, as adults, like, okay, we can handle it.
Right.
Even if you're uncomfortable with it, like if you're by yourself. I couldn't imagine, like, I just got goosebumps. I couldn't imagine sitting next to a child and having them see this or a conversation happening alongside these books
Yeah.
that are literally teaching. It's stories on how to give oral sex
I've seen
to
that.
the same sex. That's highly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
That should be illegal.
it should be illegal, and we're not talking about just a story plot with, a gay couple. Chris and Aunt walking down the street, da 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 da. We're just walking down the street, and we have a house and a family, and it's just very PG. We're talking about going down on each other. Why did that have to happen in this book? Why is this a thing? Like, so you guys know that I did a lot of the protect the children stuff, and I'll always stand with parents on that issue.
I actually really want to get into that.
Okay.
Like, I want to deep dive that. And I don't want to forget what I'm saying. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, I read the books before the show came out. When the show came out, I fangirled like you wouldn't believe. I've never screamed at a sports game. I've never, like, anything, like even UFC fighters, when people got knocked out the most, I'd be like, ugh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones came out. I saw the preview and I was in my living room standing, screaming with a broken femur. Like, I was
Oh, wow.
beside myself. I was such a fan. Knowing that those sex scenes and all of the shit that they did that's not pivotal to the story, we could have gotten an entire extra season of content. So if for an writer, right, a writer's guild to be writing these things and having a 30-minute sex scene in a TV show, you are depriving the storyline for 30 minutes. It is lazy writing just to, okay, we got this episode in. We got 10 minutes of content and 30 minutes of sex, and then we're going to end it. So
Yeah, I agree.
For nerds like myself, I could have gotten an entire extra season of Game of Thrones if all that stupid shit wasn't in
It's a
there.
great way of
I was
looking
about
It's
to say,
laziness.
As a nerd, I'm pissed off. We could have had a whole nother season. They could have wrapped up things so differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really get into it. I watched maybe 3 episodes of the first season, and I was like,
First season's very slow.
It is very dry.
I was like, okay,
Dragons.
yeah, I was like, fine. I love anything like the medieval times type stuff or like that, that time period. But it was just, I like going to the Renaissance Fair, but I think that's I think that has sexual undertones as well. If you go to the Renaissance Fair,
Depends on the time of day.
oh, is that so?
Well, yeah, because as people start drinking, that starts
Oh,
getting a
that's
whole lot
true.
worse. So
That's
if you get
true.
there first thing in the morning when everyone's sober, the attire is still like that, but the rest of it is not because they're still hungover from the night before and they haven't started drinking yet. So it's
Interesting.
just timing.
I love the Renaissance Fair. I do always do that, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
Could have been a whole other.
Did you watch Rain
I
on
didn't.
Netflix?
No.
You did? No?
No.
You should.
Okay. Is
Really
it?
good. Medieval themed.
Oh,
Mary, Queen of Scots follows her story.
Oh,
It's a
I'll have to-
CW show.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
It's good.
Yeah, add it to the list.
Yes.
All right. Let's deep dive the whole children thing because
Okay.
I know that was a huge thing for you, and like
Yeah.
I've followed you since I got on TikTok. You conservative Barbie was still conservative Barbie at the time, and there are like 3 other content creators. Joe was still Team FU Joe.
Yeah.
I followed like 6 people. I didn't give a shit about TikTok.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't want to be on there. I only did it because I was killing time. So I followed you guys, and like a lot of your content right around that time started shifting into protect the kids, and like that's what solidified me as like a fan of your content. And I know that you've done a lot, and a lot of it has not been publicized. I know you do a lot of behind the scene things. I see what you do with the hurricanes.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be publicized all the time, right? And a lot of content creators have strayed away from it because I will tell you, I got more hate, and this is what's so fucked up. I got more hate when I started speaking out with parents on the Protect the Children's movement than I did being a straight up Trump supporter.
Wow.
It was so mind-blowing to me because I thought that would have been
The thing that
The thing.
Everyone
agrees
can
on,
unite
like-
around save the children.
No,
Right.
No. I was called a pedophile. I was called all kinds of names, and I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, I don't even like kids around me. You know what I mean? I'm like, I literally tell my friends not to bring their kids to my house.
They're obnoxious.
Yeah, like I don't
They're a
have
lot.
kids. Like I don't have kids. I don't want them around except for like my family and
Right.
my nieces and nephews. But I was strictly doing this, which it started off speaking out against it because I was trying to protect the gay community. I was trying to protect all the things that they called us back in the 80s and 90s, our elder gays, that people at that time used to say that gay people were predators. You guys are,
Oh,
stay away
yeah,
from
the
my
big
kids.
stigma.
Stay away from my kids. And that was like in the 80s,
I
okay?
actually remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they labeled men, grown gay men, as sexual deviants, okay?
I heard that continued into the 2000s.
Well, and then it came to a point, right, where it was like we were just living just normal life, like everybody was like off of that bandwagon, like there wasn't talk about that, and then you fucking did it again with all this other stuff. And so it started off with protecting the gay community, and then in turn I started to meet a lot of parents. And I started to find out what was going on in schools. And so I started standing shoulder to shoulder with parents. It was a completely innocent thing and common sense to me, where I was like, why wouldn't I stand with parents on this? And so that's where the Protect the Children movement really got me involved. And that's when at that same time, Gays Against Groomers was an organization that reached out.
Are you still involved with them at all?
So I'm still a supporter of them. I just have so much going on that I just, and this will kind of link up when I tell you why I'm not doing as much with it anymore. I was a contributor. I used to give them content all the time, but I was already I was speaking out about this stuff years before the internet too. And then I started going to rallies for Protect the Children, and I got into confrontations with Antifa and like a lot of people on the far left. They knew me by name, like they saw me at the rallies, and they're like, "Conservative ad, you're a bigot, you're a fascist, you're this," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, I fucking love you guys. Like, I love the gay community. What are you talking about? I'm trying to protect you guys are looking crazy."
You're one of them. Like,
Well, not
right,
for them, I'm
right.
not
No,
more.
but you're
But yeah.
the LGBT community. You're involved in that.
Correct.
So I view that the same way I view feminism right now. I do not feel supported by a vast majority of women. Wow. So how can you scream feminism and sisterhood while simultaneously continuing to put one of your own down?
100%. And that's when I started going to these things. And then I started noticing that people didn't care as much about people with kids didn't care as much, or they were scared to speak out against it. And then I had like an oh shit moment where I was like, wait a minute, why am I getting doxxed and I'm getting all the backlash and I don't even fucking have kids, and you have kids and you're not speaking out against it? So you know what? Here's the information. You fucking go do it. You have kids, go do it. Because I know that I can protect my nieces and nephews, or the people in my group, like my friends' kids.
Yeah.
And they're going to listen because I'm going to be like, yo, this is going on in this town, like, da-da, whatever. But like, why am I going to go to it? I don't fucking have kids. If you don't want to do it and you don't care what's going on in your school systems, then guess what?
Amen.
Fuck it. It's unfortunate. I'm still going to put the information out there when it comes to me. I'm still going to give it to people. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to risk my sanity or get death threats because I'm just trying to protect a whole community from looking like deviants, and then protect innocent children from being exposed to sexually explicit things. Well, if you're a parent, then you fucking do it. And if you're not, then you're not. I don't know what to tell you.
I am absolutely disgusted and infuriated by parents today. I have told Chris several times, I've said it on a podcast, I am willing to take boxing classes and box parents who think it's okay to abuse their children because I'm your size.
I know.
Try that with me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you have that. Like, that was so hot. No disrespect. But like, I love like
you just keep complimenting her and not me because I don't want to leave here with an ego. I'm just saying.
You already are. Who are you
I have
getting?
to fucking open the sunroof on the truck to drive home.
I know, right? Yeah, no, I absolutely love a woman that, like, a mother that stands up like that. I wish that more parents would. I don't know if parents are just scared. I know the government has labeled parents that go to school board meetings as the domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
So people are scared to lose their jobs. It's a really, really, I mean, we moved.
Right.
I mean, we moved because I was trying to do this Protect the Kids thing, and I wasn't getting support by parents. So in my view, then have fun.
The risk versus the reward is not worth it for you.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's really sad. So now what I really want to expose and so now when I see a video, right, or people send me a video, they're like, this is going on, this drag event is going on, and it says all ages. Okay, so can we talk? I want to see the parents that are bringing the kids.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, the drag queen's on stage, whatever. Okay, that's all noise, right? It's all bullshit too, but it's all noise. So the kid didn't drive himself there. So let's focus on who these people are.
Yeah.
Expose them. Expose
Yeah.
the kids'
Wow.
parents.
That's a good point.
I have seen TikToks of like pride rallies of men walking around with their dicks out, being interviewed. How do you feel about the children walking around here today? Oh, well, I'm here for me. And then a 6-year-old walks by. Well, how do you feel about that child that just walked past you exposed? Well, their parent brought them
Where's the parent?
right next to the child.
Where's our where's that city
Right.
and the law enforcement that you can't do that at a 4th of July parade?
The
No,
law
it's indecent
enforcement
exposure charges.
were present and they were asked, what are you going to do about that? Oh, well, we're just here to keep the peace.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's actually their answer. They've been told by a lot of their higher ranking officers to stand down and not
Yeah.
make arrests
Yeah.
at those rallies unless they become violent.
Yeah, whether they agree with it or not,
Right.
and then they would be taken off the force or put on desk duty. It's disgusting. It's a shame. I will say this: I knew this about Pride 20 years ago. Chicago Pride, great time. At that time, it was mostly adults. I never saw kids when I was at Pride in those times, but they've been doing that. Guys were walking around with, not to get explicit, but rings and all kinds of stuff just out in the open on the street.
Oh,
They
I've
were doing
seen chains,
doing stuff. They were doing stuff in the alleys.
Yeah.
I mean, women with their breasts out, like that was something but there wasn't kids there at that
Right.
time. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and then once I got older, and then I was like, I really don't want to go to Pride anymore. And then I started kind of waking up at that time, and I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's like they want to still do that, but now they're exposing kids to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just can't wrap my mind around it. So that's where I stand on it now. It's just, I got hate on both sides, and much more support, honestly, more support than hate. It wasn't even the hate that did it. It was more the disappointment in parents.
Yeah. It's hard to stomach seeing that,
Mm-hmm.
knowing we can talk about it and us having this conversation is just words. To see the child and recognize that this little soul is not just going to be able to walk away from this conversation.
Right.
It's devastating.
It is.
Yeah.
The things that I just do now is like, if, I have my godson, he's 2 years old, and thankfully my family is very much on the same page as me with everything mentally. Common sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's not hard. It's all
Right.
common sense stuff that we all should be on the same page on. But anyways, so all I can do is like, and my other niece and stuff, but they're in college now, so there's no telling what they're gonna learn.
Right.
But all I can do is protect mine. So if when he gets to the age where he's going into a public bathroom, all I can do is stand out front of the bathroom and do my part and make sure that somebody's not going in there and doing something.
Yeah.
Or go take him to the bathroom. Or, say, hey buddy, what are you guys learning in school, and be proactive with that. As an uncle, my brother, my sister-in-law, as parents, that's what they're gonna do. Whether they decide to homeschool, they send their kid, they're gonna be involved in their kids' academics and in life. And that's all you can do, really.
Yeah.
So with where you are right now in life, if you were to ever adopt a child, would you homeschool or would you put them in the public school system?
I would homeschool. We talked about adopting. We do not want to adopt. I think that we would love to adopt a child, but our government is holding our children hostage. And adoption in the United States is the biggest fraud.
Yeah.
They want like $80,000 for you to adopt a child that is already using government funding to put them in foster care. that they're already being put in harm's way when they're going from foster family to foster family instead of just outright getting adopted. They want that to happen. Our government wants these kids to be in the system because it makes more money for them. And so in order for you to adopt a child, you have to A, make a certain amount of money, and then B, you have to put $70,000, $80,000 and give it to them. And it goes to the government. It doesn't even go to the kid.
Yeah.
So why couldn't I put that into a college fund, say, for my kid?
Right.
Why I got to give it to your ass, like the government? You know, so it's a scam. And then, honestly, if I was a parent, I probably would go to jail because all the stuff that I'm seeing right now, I wouldn't be able to hold my cool. If I had a kid in the system, I wouldn't be the parent that's not doing anything. That's for sure.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I would be having a Molotov cocktail.
100%.
We don't talk about arson.
I would be writing very strong worded letters with my hands.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right,
I
my
would have pulled my
congressman.
kids. I mean, there's no way I would keep my kids in the system.
Yeah.
So we've decided, my partner and I, of 14 years.
Ooh, good for you.
Yeah. It's just a no for us.
Yeah. I'm gonna
I
throw out
need to see
another.
the boots.
Oh, you need to see the boots?
Yes,
You like them?
I do. I
I'm not
love them.
patriotic or anything.
Not even a little. Yeah, the freedom tattoo on the arm. Not
Right?
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Okay, so before I forget, I want to talk about my Halloween costume. I need to come back to that thought. Conspiracy theory about keeping the kids in the system. It is easier to control people. The foster system.
Right.
Kids turn 18s, they're just turned out to the world. Good luck. They have no support system. They have no guidance into adulthood. They don't know they probably don't even know what it looks like getting into the world because they've just focused on surviving. So they don't know how hard it is to get a job, how hard it is to maintain a lifestyle. It is much easier to have people dependent on a government when they have nowhere else to turn because that's all they've known.
Yeah, and then they get into drugs and trafficked.
Yeah.
You know, it's in my bio. Change Unchained is an organization that helps to put people that have been trafficked or dealt with sexual abuse into a living situation. He's got acres. This man is amazing. Tons of land. He's building small homes for these people.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So you can definitely find that in my link tree. But yeah, I mean, they want them to go into the system with nothing. They want them to be trafficked. They want them to depend on the government for the rest of their life and on drugs and all that kind of stuff. It's sad, really, because it makes you think. When we did go through the adoption process to kind of see what it entailed, and I was like, why are people adopting kids from like China?
Other countries, right? I always thought the same thing. I had no idea that this was a whole
'Cause it's
process.
cheap.
Yeah, that's insane.
Because it's cheap. When we have millions of kids here in our country that are dropped off at doorsteps sometimes of police departments, or they're put in those little
Safe
fire
boxes.
safe
station
boxes, which is great that they have those.
Yeah.
But hold on a minute. So if I went to say that happened in my town, right? Say I was a fireman, and that happened in my town, and I said I want to adopt this. I'm going to keep this child because this is horrible. I want to.
Right.
It's still got to go through the system. Why? Vet him, and then let him take care of the. You can't. It's got to go through the government.
I would.
And I believe. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I believe that's why a lot of women depend on abortion.
I was just gonna say that shit.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that shit. That makes a whole lot of sense, and it's why it's pushed so heavily.
Yes. And that's why I was never on one side or the other when it came to pro-life or I am pro-life, but it's okay to be pro-choice.
Right.
It is okay to have your own belief. Okay, I think we got away from that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're pro-choice, I don't hate you. I personally have become pro-life. I always thought I was pro-choice because I'm gay. I'm not going to have any kids. I'm not going to get a woman pregnant, so I have no skin in the game. But after I saw a lot of laws that were passed in places like California where it's you can abort up to full term, that's a no for me. That's straight up murder.
Yeah.
Okay? And so I think a lot of women, because they're scared of where their kids are going to go in the streets or in the system, they depend on abortion.
Oh man, it's a form of mercy.
What is that? Government funded.
What an impossible choice to make.
think about it.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I've never looked at it that way. I've never demonized women who were pro-choice or anything. I myself am personally pro-life. I myself couldn't live with that.
Yeah.
But being in those shoes and having to think about whether or not to do that or put this child through SA and trauma,
Right.
holy shit.
Right. And, you know, there's different situations, and some women take advantage of the abortion system, just as some people take advantage of the government system. I mean, there's all different scenarios, but we really will never know the statistics on the mothers that maybe abort their kids, because look at how fucked up our fucking adoption system is, our foster system.
Yeah.
How many of the kids that go into the foster system that are sexually assaulted? We'll never know.
Yeah.
We will never know that statistic because they just can't get those numbers from people.
Right.
You know, and so yeah, I mean, and see, hi liberals. Yeah, I agree with you on stuff. I do agree with there needs to be some type of limit. I agree that definitely you can be pro-choice. It's not my thing. But I don't understand why there's a right or a wrong on this. Like, why is somebody demonized for being pro-life, and why is somebody demonized for being pro-choice?
To keep us divided.
Correct.
Keep us divided, yeah.
100,
It is division.
100%.
Yeah.
If you're pro-choice, hey, I don't agree with that, but
I'm not you.
I'm not living in your life. You know, that's you got to live with that,
Yeah.
not me. So,
I want to touch on my Halloween.
I was just about to remind you of that.
are you a pro-choice liberal in your Halloween costume?
No. So I have bounced back and forth with my Halloween costume. I first was going to be Andre 3000.
Which I'm
Okay.
really glad she decided not to do, because she is a person in a public sphere, and if she put on blackface to be Andre
I
3000,
wouldn't
Oh.
have done that.
would have been a whole ordeal.
It was just going to be the outfit
I
and
know.
the character.
It was a joke.
Oh my goodness. But I couldn't find the right pants. It was all the plaid pants. They're all pajama pants, and it's not the look. So I was like, maybe Donald Trump. And Donald Trump isn't expensive. I don't want the suit to look cheap.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't. And now I'm like, maybe Dr. Phil. But before Dr. Phil, I was thinking of the cop, the new boot goofing.
Oh, yeah.
And your boots, just kind of like, I am leaning more towards that now. The new boot goofing, because I can get new boots.
You guys should come to my 80s party. It's this weekend.
You have an 80.
We've made it in life, so you know.
We
just got invited to
made
a
it
party
in
by Conservative Ant.
No, you should. Herb's gonna be there. It'll be fun. It's 80s themed though, so you got to dress up like you're from the 80s.
Are you kidding me? An excuse to buy like neon head warmers and like leg warmers?
Yeah,
and
but
shit?
I
No.
lived through the 80s once, and it wasn't like that. That's
We can
what
do
we're
that
being
with Roy
sold.
Brown.
Cinematic.
Right.
80s.
It's not. The 80s was panel walls, cigarette smoke
Brown.
stained everything, and brown ashtrays.
Sitting
Like,
in the front seat of my mom's Buick while she smoked Marlboro
Right,
Lights
with the windows
100s,
up.
With the windows. And we all have a picture of like a Miller Lite can we're like 5 years old, sitting on someone's lap with a Miller Lite can and a fake cigarette hanging out of her mouth.
that actually, that exists.
I have a picture like that of me too. No, it'd be super fun. It's Friday the 13th. You guys should come. Like, gonna be a lot of couples. You'll meet a lot of people.
Full invitation. I'm not going to say no.
heard
to
it.
Are you
that.
kidding me? An excuse to dress up and be goofy? I'm down.
Yes.
Let's go.
I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I have
got
to actually
you.
think of
I'll
a
figure it out.
costume.
We can do Cher and the other guy.
Sonny and Cher.
Sunny and Cher.
Was
Was
Oh, that was
70s.
70s. Okay.
You can be.
That went into the 80s, but yeah, that was more. Didn't Cher show become the Cher show? Like she
Yeah.
left, and
Well,
I think
Sonny
that
died,
was the 80s.
right?
Yeah, I don't know.
What power couples were in the 80s?
Ooh.
I mean, you could still be Donald Trump and Melania, or not Melania, the original Trump.
The original one.
We could also just
Laura
be
Trump?
the stereotypical in the leotards,
Yeah.
leggings, aerobic instructors.
I just need.
Walk in and be like, all right, ladies, let's get it.
Hold on, is he wearing a leotard?
We could do it. He probably wouldn't.
No.
Oh, damn it.
What's that?
That was in the 80s. Madonna and Sean Penn.
There you go.
Oh.
You could do Madonna.
I could Vogue. I fucking, let's go.
Who was Cindy Crawford? Wasn't Cindy Crawford a big 80s, or was that more 90s?
I was
I mean-
more
Brooke
90s.
Shields and Michael Jackson.
Oh, I can see you was Michael Jackson.
Just need the glove.
We need the glove.
That's funny.
Practice your moonwalk.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a big dancer. Yeah, I would love to go to that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I don't know. I mean, you guys got kids and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Adults only.
Friday night is normally our poker night. So like
Oh.
we have 2 nights a week that we have adult night for us.
Okay.
And we play poker one of those nights, and then we do day nights the other night, so we could just not play poker that
Oh,
night.
cool.
And go down.
Oh,
So-
cool. Sweet. Love it. Yeah, it's adults only.
Perfect.
I told you I don't want to get kids in my house.
I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't want to bring my kids either.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
I mean,
This is
we
not
have-
a parkour
We're,
gym.
we're gonna have people like I know one of my buddies and his wife. They're dressing up as Baywatch, and I was like, wasn't that 90s? But if you look it up,
It
started
in
in
the
89,
Yeah.
88
Oh,
or
right on the
89.
cusp.
So, but I think they wanted to wear as limited clothes as possible. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, it's adults only party.
Yeah. Should we bring anything? Do you bring
Bring
your
a
own drinks?
bottle or
Okay.
I can do that. Those don't look over there. Those were all gifts except for the baker's bottle, so that doesn't count.
shame on me, and I didn't bring you a fucking gift. Today.
Well, I brought you some.
Thank
You should check this out. We created our own coffee brand.
Oh my! Are these the full beans?
They
Yeah.
are.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I know you're a coffee guy, so bringing you coffee grinds is not the same as actual whole bean fresh roasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to grind this up. Tap the bottom of my glass. Thank you guys.
You have to let us know what you think.
I will for sure.
Yeah.
Love that.
We also have teas as well if you enjoy tea.
I'm not a tea drinker.
I'm not either.
I never have been a hot tea person. When I'm sick, you know, people are like, make sure you drink hot tea and hot tea. And I don't want that shit. And I know I have to have it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know why I don't like it. I'm just not a tea person.
It could be that it's the consistency.
Is that
When I think of tea, before I really got into tea, I thought it was more of like a thicker drink. It tastes like water, like with lemon screaming from the corner.
yes.
So it's a very watery based drink, and for a lot of people, I think it's the texture of it's just so smooth.
Yeah.
Can't
Like
do
I
it.
like cold sweet tea. I like a good Arnold Palmer, half and half, you
Yeah.
know, lemon. But to like the whole tea, man.
See, I'm Southern. It's sugar water with a little bit of coloring in it.
yeah. That's right. Nice.
Trying to get diabetes with this tea.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, if you don't need a nap afterwards, there's not enough sugar in it.
Yeah.
Your body's trying to regulate your insulin for the next 3 hours after a
Right.
single cup.
Right.
One of the worst things ever is going up north and asking for a sweet tea, and they're like, "Well, we have tea and we can bring you sugar packets." No, the tea needs to be hot,
Yeah.
so we can mix it up in there. I don't want the granules on my teeth. It's like chewing sand.
Ooh.
I would take that over non-sweet tea. I'm just saying. If I had to choose one.
Non-sweet tea is like the worst. I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I don't even.
There's so many people on our Discord that's going to hear this and lose their shit because there's so many tea snobs in there.
They'll
A
be
lot of
okay.
them are from
I'm
Europe,
so
but-
sorry. Oh my god. I love tea. Oh my god. A good chamomile. Wow.
That's funny.
Don't hate me because of tea. Okay?
It's funny. So I noticed the clothes and the hat. Is this something that you're affiliated with? Is this something
Yep.
that they've just given you? Is this your clothing line? What is this?
Yeah, so
Let's market you.
Okay, so Ironclad Resolve, veteran owned and operated. They actually reached out to me a couple years ago, and it was from like the town that I grew up in, pretty much, right near there. And I was like, wait a minute, you guys are from Lombard, Illinois? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, we had mutual friends. Long story short, they're like, yo, we'd like to team up with you. Like, I know we were doing our own merch before. I was trying to support small business, like have somebody make it in another state, you know, and then send it, and then we would ship it. And it was just so much.
I'm glad
and-
you said that.
And if anybody knows anything about doing t-shirts, we're not doing it to make money. I swear to you. It's literally to either A, support a small business that's trying to do the shirts, or B, it's because people have asked for it and a lot of people don't want to shop at big box anymore. So it's like, why not buy from us
Yep.
or your
Right.
favorite whatever content creator, because you're not making money off of shirts.
No, I know.
It's not. It's
I know. That area that you walked by earlier is our fulfillment area, and I have all of my shirts done locally at a company called Buffalo Graphics that I work with on a regular basis. They do all of our tattoo shop stuff.
okay.
So I have all of my shirts made through him. I buy them by the thousand, so there's a little bit of a price break, not much. It still costs a lot to make the shirts. But it's one of those things that like I do the design, he prints them, and then I mail everything out. So it's a fucking process. It's
Yeah.
not like
No, I mean they're
wait on Amazon, you know what I mean?
No, and that's what people don't get sometimes too. So anyway, so they were like, we would like to for you to have a hand in designing like what you like, and then have like a corner of your place within Ironclad Resolve. So now if you go into ironcladresolve.com, you go to collaborators, conservative ant. I designed the t-shirts and hats that are there. It's super great because they handle everything, and they just give me a little percentage of it.
It's dope.
And it's supporting them too. I mean, these guys are, same thing. They're not making much off of it, but they're building a parallel economy, and we're in a perfect spot right now in this time in history where we are able to build different shows for people that like it, which is over half of the country. Shirts and merch. Businesses, American-owned, veteran-owned, small business, supporting local, supporting small business. So that's what I genuinely like. If you see something that I've advertised, besides like one of my biggest sponsors is Ghostbed right now. They're nationwide. But everything else, every shirt that I wear is one of mine or somebody else's. And hats, same thing. I don't think I have to shop at Buckle because I need jeans, and like no content creators making jeans right now. Sorry, guys. But yeah, other than that, like it's all about lifting up other businesses.
In the event that you would like to buy American-made jeans, Origin in Maine makes denim jeans. Like actually, all of it is processed here in the United States.
Really? And how much is that pair of jeans?
Like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's quality. It's denim, real denim, good denim will last you 100 years.
Oh yeah,
that's why there's an aftermarket for Levi's, for antique Levi jeans.
Yeah, well, and we live in Florida, so it's not like we're really getting tons of wear and tear on our jeans. I feel like because I'm mostly in shorts
in the air conditioning.
Or in the air conditioning,
right.
Yeah. But no, I really want people to know that this is the time for you to thrive if you are of a different political belief, conservative, because those that are canceled or those that have been shunned by the other side does have an opportunity to create all of these great shows and radio shows and podcasts and content and become independent journalists, content journalists, and make stuff like coffees and create businesses. We're not like, this is the sweet time right now.
It's time to do it.
And if you're a conservative and you're typically a capitalist, and if you're a conservative and you're not a capitalist, then I hate to tell you, but you're a liberal.
Yeah, it means you do a little.
If you're
more
getting
research.
mad at conservatives for creating businesses for you, and then you're liberal.
Now, are you affiliated with Lions Not Sheep? Because I saw you in a lot of their gear for a while.
Yeah, so I love Lions Not Sheep. I love Sean. I love his wife. I've hung out with him. That was one of the first brands when I was just starting off that reached out to me. And I loved the message, be a leader, not a follower. I don't think it's of any political viewpoint.
Yeah, I agree.
But, the liberals have exiled it as a conservative brand, which I'm fine with. But yeah, it means to be a lion, not a sheep, a leader, not a follower. And I was doing an ambassadorship program with them before. I still will always rep their stuff. I've kind of just went off and started doing other things, which is totally cool. But I love Lions Not Sheep.
So as a creator, how long did it take you before people started reaching out to you for things? Because we've had to track down all of our advertisers, sponsors, all of it. We've not had a single person reach out and go, hey, other than well, we had one, but it was not a big deal. It was like a single time marketing.
So I actually did reach out to Lions Not Sheep. That was my first one. I had literally just followed it, and then I'd commented. I think I had maybe 40 or 50,000 followers on TikTok at the time. Not much on Instagram at all. Maybe 6,000 followers. It was just my normal Instagram account. But I was like, love your stuff. I'd love to rep your shirts. And he's like, dude, and he followed me back. He's like, dude, you're hilarious. Love your stuff. I would definitely and they didn't even have an ambassadorship program at that time. So he's like, I definitely love to send you some things. So I don't reach out to anybody now.
No.
They reach out to me.
Ooh, good for you.
Yeah.
That's
I've
dope.
wanted to reach out to a couple brands. Ghostbed was the podcast that I'm on is a veteran and first responder podcast. That's the majority of our listeners.
I heard that this is a conspiracy theory podcast.
It is.
And it's quite funny from what I'm told.
It is. It's a conspiracy podcast. I wanted to get away from, but I talk about politics all the time. This is a good one though, because conspiracy and politics kind of run hand in hand a lot. So my podcast co-host, he is, previous law enforcement, previous special ops. Like, he's a veteran. And so we got a lot of dark humor and a lot of, banter back and
That's
forth.
right up my alley.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing everything through Zoom, or are you doing it in studio, like in house or whatever?
So we are doing it all through, I think it's River.
River FM.
Yeah. Because he's in North Carolina. And
Gotcha.
So we have to
Gotcha.
do it that way. But it's been working out. But yeah, Ghostbed sponsors Failure to Stop, the organization of the podcast that he does. So now we have our own show within Failure to Stop called Night Shift.
Oh wow.
That's dope.
Super cool.
If you hadn't gotten banned 355 times, how many followers do you think that you would have on social
Millions,
media right now?
probably.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because I was, I was just getting the, and it doesn't matter, I guess, because, over all platforms is probably over 1.5 million, or maybe a little bit more, or less. Yeah, probably. I mean, if I wasn't banned, it's TikTok is ran by troll accounts.
Oh yeah.
They don't have a real support. Like, I will say, I know people hate Zuckerberg and Meta and all that shit. Meta, is there wood I can knock on? Meta hasn't fucked with me because my stuff is just enough to not hit it.
Right.
To where they're like, oh, you're a fucking violent extremist, we're banning your video. Because it's got that mixture of comedy. And it's not that I've changed anything. I've always been that way. I've been a ball buster. So yeah, Meta, Instagram, and Facebook have actually been better to me than TikTok. But lately, TikTok's been pretty good. I think they've been sued a couple times.
Yeah, I think they have too. Have you are you responsible for all of your own clips and footage, or do you have somebody that helps you with all that?
I wish I
Yeah.
had somebody that helped me. I am so not tech savvy at all. Most of my stuff is raw. I've never been an editor.
Right.
Even though I went to school to do that in broadcasting. Every time they put me behind the board, I was like, what is this? And they're like, you have to learn it. Like, you're in broadcasting school. And I'm like, can I just be in front of the camera? That would be nice. And just put them in front of the camera. And I was like,
I got what I wanted.
always usually do. I never wanted to handle any of this other stuff.
Right.
It doesn't work in my mind.
I get
I
that.
can be an entertainer all day long. I can go on stage with no script. I usually don't. I just don't. I think it's more genuine from the heart.
Right.
So, yeah, all this other stuff I can't do. So, no, I don't.
The reason I asked is because you said that Meta has been better to you. Have you monetized your Facebook Reels and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And Instagram used to actually monetize too, but they're not
I've had a lot of problems with Instagram's
as
monetization.
much anymore. Yeah. But no, Facebook has been really, really, I mean, it's another little stream,
Right.
you know.
Well, that's the point. If you so for us, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
We have the podcast, and all of my TikTok, the To Be Better TikTok account is all 95% clips from the podcast.
Yeah.
Same thing with Instagram. Same thing with Meta. Our Spreaker account, which
Twitter.
is through iHeartRadio, I actually make it go to Twitter automatically, or X, or whatever the fuck you want to call it now. But I edit the long-term format and then send it off to my editor, and he clips and does all the hashtags and all the nonsense that way. But I'm the one that's responsible for all the actual TikTok account. But he got us on Meta and got us monetized, and we hit 200,000 followers on Facebook in I don't know, a month.
That's amazing.
Right.
Holy shit.
I had to create a second Facebook account so that I can use without having to see all the notifications from all the businesses that I have. So I'll log in and there'll be 900 notifications every morning, and I just go back to the other account because I don't want to see all that shit. But
I just hit 121,000 or 122,000 on Facebook on my Conservative Ant Facebook page, and I thought that was fucking.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, 121,000 followers, and then with Instagram having over 300,000, I was like, damn. And the only way that they would verify, give me that verification, that check, is I had to change my name to my full name.
Yep, same thing with us. We can't get verified on anything. And TikTok is huge for scam accounts.
Yeah.
There are so many people that will create accounts, use our profile pictures, and then reach out to people and be like, yo, if you want your email read, pay us.
Same. If you look up Conservative Ant on TikTok, hundreds of fake accounts. And I'm like, these motherfuckers. And then I don't want to like they verified my actual Facebook page, like my family Facebook page, because it automatically, when they verified me on Instagram, they automatically verified me on Facebook.
Yeah.
But my real one, not my conservative aunt
Right.
page. And I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not changing the conservative aunt page to Anthony Raimondi. Although when I'm on the news and stuff, I don't care that people know who my real name is. It's Anthony Raimondi.
Right.
You know, it shows up on the lower thirds or whatever it is
Right.
when you're on the news. They put your real name, also known as conservative aunt. I'm not going to change that page to Anthony Raimondi as well.
Right.
Like, you can keep the
Right.
blue check.
Yeah, TikTok doesn't want to verify, and like, so have you actually tried to reach out to them because they won't even respond to you? Like it took
Oh, no,
me,
TikTok, they don't even have real people working, I feel like.
I don't think they do either. It took me 6 emails and I finally got one back.
And they
Like,
said no?
And they were like, because they wanted news articles. I'm like, well, I'm a podcast. I need you to verify that it's literally us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're 1 million on one account, 800,000 on the other. Like, we need to know that like this is us because people are getting scammed. And they're like, yeah, we don't do that. What the fuck do you mean you don't do that? You
No,
have
they
people who are having advantage being taken of them, like, and they're paying and they're losing their money, but you guys only care about your views. Is that what you're telling me? And they just stopped replying.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
So Instagram actually gave the case to someone. Like they'll give like, so when I requested verification, they said no. And then I was like, I don't understand why. You know, I emailed them and I was like, why? And they're like, we need articles. I'm like, I've been published in articles. And they're like, oh, well, can you send us the articles? And then I sent them literally any article that I was in and any news appearance, I sent them the link. And then they said no. And then I kept doing it. And so I've talked to a couple of my friends that are anchors on like syndicated news shows. And they're like, they did that to us. You have to keep going, like not TikTok,
Right.
Instagram, Facebook. And so I just kept pushing because it's important to be verified, because when you do have that amount of followers, then you have these spam accounts that are messaging people,
Yeah.
incriminating things, making it seem like you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't fucking me, you know? So at least if they know that you're verified, it's actually you. Finally, they did approve it.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll approve it, but you have to have your full name. And I'm like, okay. So the full name is Anthony Ronnie, and then it's underscored by conservative aunt, which now at least if I comment, it says conservative aunt.
Yeah.
Oh, well, at least that's
Yeah.
fine.
But the top name had to be my full name. Whatever.
That sucks for people who have shows
It does.
I know.
because you can't, like, we can't verify the show. We can only verify us as individual hosts of the show as our private accounts or personal accounts.
Yeah.
But the To Be Better podcast account is, 1.1 million followers, and now there's 14 or 15 scam accounts for me for the main account. I call it my account. It's not.
Yeah.
And then she's got her own account, and it's also got, I mean, I think she's probably closer to 20 or 30 scam accounts at this point. And we get emails constantly. People are like, hey, we got reached out to and they took our money. And I'm like, I don't know what you're telling me. I can't
Why
do
did
nothing
you get
about
it?
it. Tell
Yeah.
TikTok. Like,
And I tell people that. I've said that in lives before and stuff. I will never ask you for money. I just won't. If there's some type of event that's going on where it's a veterans event or a Hurricane Ian event, you will know that it's specifically an event for that. I would never go in your DMs and be like, help me.
right.
Right.
Never. I would go to my family and personal friends before I ever message somebody on TikTok.
Yeah.
You got to use your brain.
Yeah.
Do you have any other cool topics that you would like to talk to them about?
Cool topics. Oh man.
And we can always do this again.
I would enjoy that. I'm having a lot of fun.
I am
so-
also having a lot of fun. Yeah. I can't think of anything else. No, not really. I'm processing a lot of things.
Yeah?
Yeah. Right now, the main thing on my mind is the guilt that comes with the scam accounts.
Oh,
Like people are using my image,
I know.
and I'm a personality. That's strange
Yeah.
to say.
I don't
Like-
think you are. I know that that's the term for it, but you're not, because this is who you are as a person. We just record it. You know what I mean? Like,
People think we're personality.
right. It's weird.
It's an online personality.
It's not though,
because
because
it's literally who we are
right.
Yeah.
off that.
Right.
Yeah.
And people can tell when it's not. You know when people
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
being authentic. So like, I don't know.
Now, did you get that? What do you get from me? Am
What
I
do you
the
mean?
same as I am online?
Oh, you're even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. That makes
It's
me feel
like-
nice.
It's like being super excited for a meal and like the meal looks really good and the thought of the meal is like really good.
Yeah.
And then you actually get it in person and you taste it and you're like, oh my God, this is even better than I imagined. It's my new favorite thing.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a really good way of putting it. Thank you.
You're like a nice comfort meal.
Ooh.
Like, you're good for the soul.
What a compliment. You're a comfort
Wow,
meal.
I'm not going to be able to leave today. But
Now
you
you're going to have to open the
up that door.
sunroof. You're going to have to take the
Open
truck
that
and you're
up.
riding the back.
Him and I are both.
I have all kinds of questions, but I don't think any of it's really relevant to anything, and I don't want to put you on the spot with shit that you're not going to want to answer. How about if you just don't want to answer, you just say I don't want to answer, and I'll just cut it so it doesn't look like I asked you shit.
Okay, what are we talking about?
So you have met people that like I don't think that I would have been able to keep my cool around. Like,
Oh.
okay, so like the first time I saw you post a video with Struggle Jennings,
Oh,
bro,
my
I almost messaged you and like, what the fuck, bro? No invite, like, because I'm a fan,
we became
right?
good friends. Yeah, I don't get like that when I meet people.
Right.
For whatever reason, it doesn't like spark in me like at all. And some people do, some people don't. You know, I've became really great friends with Adam.
Yeah, I saw
Calhoun.
that.
And then I thought that I would get that way when I met Bunny and Jelly. I thought that I was gonna be like, sorry, Jelly, more Bunny.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Like, I just don't. It just doesn't for me in my mind. I just feel like they put their pants on the same as I do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like know my worth now. And I never do. I mean, my friend Herb can tell you. People tell me I'm famous. I'm like, no, I'm not.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
And I don't give myself credit at all. And now I'm getting to the point where not to be cocky about it, but at least be like, no, I should fucking be sitting next to this
Right.
person.
Yeah.
Or of course I should be on the Bunny Show.
That's funny. I have sent her manager at least 6 emails because of the amount of people who are like, the two of you are a like less famous Bunny and Jelly because of our relationship.
I
and the
feel
way
like
we
I'm on
interact.
Bunny.
Jelly and Bunny.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Bunny and Jelly.
Yeah.
Bunny and Jelly.
But we want that. Like, we've been trying to get them to just correspond with us. If we have to fly to Vegas and take all of this shit with us and interview in a hotel, fuck it. I'm willing to do that. But
Well, I might have.
don't play with me.
Number.
That would be super dope. Even if
I'm sorry, you have who's?
hold on.
I
Even
might have Bunny's
if
number, I
she
can
doesn't
text
want to
her.
do the To Be Better podcast, if I could get her to just sit down with Peaches
Yeah.
to have that kind of conversation, I think would be fucking astronomical.
I'm gonna send her your profile today.
Okay,
Yeah.
stop it. Are you serious? Holy
That's
shit.
like I'll text her in front of you.
Okay, I need to calm down.
Now she's bad at texting back though.
Yeah, I would believe
But-
that.
I was just thinking, like, we had that conversation about how you guys were texting. I was a little bit jealous about it. I'm
Yeah.
an awful texter.
Are you?
Like, it
Yeah,
takes
it's
me
bad.
days.
So I hate red bubbles on my phone. So
do I.
I am a good texter back.
yeah.
I'm a good checker, but not always.
He
a
will say
responser.
I'm not a good texter back. I'm better now, bitch. But sometimes I'll at least open it because
Yeah.
I want to get rid of the red
That's it. I open.
notification,
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, "Fuck, I forgot to message that person back."
I'm one of those people too that like I'm very aware of time frames. So like if I get a text message late at night, I will respond to it, but I'm not sending a text after 9 p.m. because you never know. Like
Oh yeah, you did do that.
I'm 80s baby, bro.
I
Like
know.
you call somebody before 10 a.m. on a Saturday
I
and
will
that
never
phone's
call
ringing,
somebody
bruh,
after 9, yeah.
it's so bad. So, but you're like, I'm up late all the time. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's have a conversation.
I am, and I'm up until probably 1 in the morning, and then I'll like lay in bed and still I'll like, because you gotta remember, like I'm trying to think of stuff that like I'm trying to save content and like sound bites and like read what I'm trying to wrap my mind around what's going on in the Middle East, like, and it drains you.
It does.
It really does.
You know, and then you can't sleep. And so what I've been trying to do now is just take my phone and try to like put it to the side and be like, let's watch a movie. And Halloween's one of our favorite months, so it's the only month that gives you the people don't look at you crazy when you like gore.
Yeah.
Right.
You
yeah.
can be as sadistic as you want not during Halloween time, and no one's like, "Oh, why do you have dead bodies hanging from your?" Because it's Halloween.
Yeah. I saw the doll that you were.
Yeah.
Don't give me that attitude. Yeah.
Listen, I grew up. It's so funny because we grew up during a generation where it was like I watched Freddy Krueger and Jason and Chucky and all these horror movies, and then go to bed, you know, or like Blockbuster Friday, You know, you go to Blockbuster and you get Hellraiser and you get all these like cool scary movies. And my mom would order Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
We would sit, watch these scary movies, and then I'd go to bed. And now parents nowadays are like, that's so scary for them. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
That was my
What the
childhood
fuck
too.
are you talking about? I'm like, my mom used to be like, don't sit too close to the TV. You're going to go blind. And we would like watch Jason and Freddy Krueger. I'm like, yeah, you know. And this generation's so coddled.
They're so
That's
soft.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
First time I watched Nightmare on Elm Street, it was a Blockbuster rental. They brought it home and we watched it, and
I remember the VHS,
The VHS
Yeah.
tapes.
packet. Like, I
Yep.
remember like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I ran and jumped as far away as I could to try to make it to the bed so that nothing could grab me as I got near it.
Or hanging your leg off the bed because the
Yeah.
boogies are going to get you. Yeah, I
It's
remember
just
that.
funny.
Yep.
The 80s were a wild time, man, when you really think about it. Like, that was, I think, the end of the connection of people, because it's, you know, with the advent of cell phone and the text messages, we had less in-person conversations and things became very short and not emotionally based.
Yeah.
Because text messages only have the emphasis that you put on them. If you think somebody's being shitty, it doesn't matter how polite they're being. You think they're being shitty and condescending. Like, that's a you problem.
Yeah, well, and that's why sometimes I can come off as bitchy. So, like, I will call somebody if I'm like, I'm just going to call them because it's going to sound like I'm being a bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what I was trying to say is that, because it can, like, you can say, just say, where are you? Well, it could be like, hey, where are you?
Yeah.
Or where are you? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, and each person has their own insecurities that make that text message seem different to every single person. So I agree with you. It's definitely a different time. It's a wild time to be alive.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So how did you meet all these people? Did this so with the struggle thing or Jelly and Bunny, are these just organic things that like you've met through other people or?
Yeah. So Jelly and Bunny, I'm not like friends with.
Right.
Met through acquaintances. You know, we met at a wedding. Adam, I met on social media. Struggle, I met through social media. They invited me out, you know, initially to like either their concert or their house, and because I don't get like,
Right.
it was just a really organic relationship. I genuinely adore them all.
Do you think that you don't get that way because the people you're interacting with are authentic?
Yes.
See that, and that's what I'm talking about,
Yes.
because I didn't get that way over you or Joe. Like when you guys came here, because I've only been on TikTok for a year.
Right.
You guys have been doing this for a while, so like there's a lot of knowledge that you guys have that I don't have yet.
Yeah.
And part of me does want to be like, oh my God, I'm meeting someone famous. But I also know that like we've been having these conversations and text messages and shit. Like it's an organic
normal.
thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel forced or fake.
Yeah, and people like Struggle and Adam and, you know, Jelly, I think that the reason why they're so successful is because they are who they say they are,
Right.
and they're genuine people, and people genuinely love their music and they care about their fans, and you can see that it comes through their music.
Yeah.
And when you're there in person, even in the crowd, each person in that crowd can feel the connection
Yeah.
to any one of those artists. I'm just mentioning them because we're talking about, there's many artists that are the same. I think Jimmy Levy is another really great artist right now. Absolutely love him. I think that we're just in a music video. He just did a new song called Freedom. He is he's like literally a gift from God.
That's the video where everybody's wearing the black shirts?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, you can't force people to be that way.
Right.
It's either they're that way or they're not that way. The people I mentioned, in my opinion, are genuine people. I've only had nothing but genuine things from them, so you know, anybody that you meet on social media, if they're not genuine, you're
Yeah.
going to know within a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to know before you even go and hang out with them. Joe, I love Joe. I mean, he's so smart. Joe, you're so damn smart. Not Joe Biden.
That's
About the
Joey.
older
There's a
millennial.
difference.
That's Joey. I'm talking about the older millennial. He's so smart. I've learned so much from him
Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah, he taught me some TikTok shit while he was here. We talked about the beta
Good.
program and all that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
We
That's actually what I started doing too, and I
Yeah.
was like, damn.
yeah, when we got into the beta program, you want to talk about watching your views change? Oh my God, TikTok just put a fucking veil over us. We went from getting, 600,000, 700,000 views.
millions.
Yeah, and now we're like 20,000's a good day because they don't want to pay you for it. But he showed me some things because I never used the green screen, and like he showed me some Stitch stuff, and like we had a lot of good conversations about that. And you're right, he's intelligent. I asked him, one of the questions I asked him was, how much time do you put into researching before you rebuttal somebody when they make a video? And he's like, I don't know, 3 to 30 minutes. And I'm like, it would take me days to do the kind of research, and he just spits it out. There's no teleprompter.
Yeah.
Like he's smart. Dude's able to retain a lot.
Yeah,
of
there's
shit.
so I think there's different people or different type of content journalists for different reasons. I think he is more in depth. He's super smart about it. I'm on the comedic standpoint from it. So I understand bills. I get our government and what's happening in our government, but I take it from a different side. So that's my part to
Yeah.
this movement. And every single person should be individually adding something to the movement, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You guys add an element that people can't add to it. You elevate voices and have people meet these people one-on-one, because all they're seeing is a 30 to 60 to 10-minute clip of us. They're not seeing this full interaction of look, people might not have thought about the abortion thing that I agree,
Right.
agree to disagree. There's many things that they might not have thought that I thought. So it's good. We need this.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We have been overly excited about this, and I can't wait to go home and edit it. There will be tons of clips. I'm going to try to make it look as crazy as possible, to make him look as crazy as conspiracies as possible, so that it gets us tons of views, and we're going to totally ride your coattails for a little while. Love to have you back on.
I'm coming.
We need to get you and Joe in the same room.
Yes.
With that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life,
So grab a pen.
and we will see you on the next one. That's it.
Love it. I'm so excited.